Hello, I am Razana. This is my JavaScript ES6 homework assignment number 17. Homework assignment number 17 is to create alarm notifications application using notifications API. In this application, there are three files. First one, the HTML file. In the HTML file, there's a form to submit alarm, date and time. In this form, there's a input element to input date and another input element to input time and submit the form. A button is provided to submit the form. Form submission success or failure message displayed using a paragraph tag. And below the form, there's a div tag defined to hold all the alarm entries. In this HTML file, there's an external style sheet which provides all the styles for the HTML elements and a JavaScript file which describes the application functionalities. So in the JavaScript file, first we have a storage variable defined with const keyword to hold the local storage value and a key variable defined with const keyword to hold the local storage key value. Alarm notification functionalities are handled using a class. This class alarm notifications has a constructor with the properties ID, date, time and notified. ID is a numeric value. Date and time are string value with the given format. And notified is a boolean value which stores the alarm trigger status. The class methods are first one set defaults. Set defaults uh, method gets the current date from the current date and time, extract the month, year and date, convert that to string, and these three variables assigned to an array and join with the given format and convert to a string and assign that value to date property. Here it gets the hour and minute convert to string values and assign to an array and convert that into a string format and assign that value to class time property. So the date and time properties are assigned to the input elements date and time. Also set the date and time input element attribute minimum value to the current date and time. That is set defaults method. Next we have get timestamp method. This method takes date and time as arguments, extract the hour and minutes and convert that date into a date object and set the hours and minutes and return the time in milliseconds. Set alarm method takes the date and time input value and check for null. If it is null, it just return. Then take the time and call the get timestamp method. Convert that in time into seconds and assign that value to this variable. Similarly, we take the current time and there's a try catch block to validate the alarm entry. First we check the alarm entry is a future date and time. If it is not a future date and time, then throw an error message. This error message is captured in catch block and displayed in the form, sorry, displayed on top of the form. Here the show message method is called. Inside the try block, if alarm submission is success, we assign the value to date and time properties. And there's another try catch block. In the try block, we save that value in the local storage. Here it calls the save method. Save method gets the alarm object and there is a array alarms and a search result. These two are empty arrays. First we check for the key in the local storage. If the key is available, it calls the get all method. Get all method returns the local storage items and convert that to a JavaScript object. And this value is pushed to the alarms array using ES6 spread syntax. Similarly, we filter the alarms array to find any matching records for the given date and time and use ES6 spread syntax to push that result to search result array. Next, we check for duplicate alarm entries. If there are no matching records in the search array for the given date and time, then push the alarm object to the alarms array, convert that alarms JavaScript object into JSON array, string array, and store in the local storage. If there are duplicate entries, then it throws an error message to catch in the try catch block. So the duplicate entry message will catch the error in the catch block and it calls the show message to display the error. After saving the value in the local storage, it calls the create node method to create a new element in the DOM and show uh, and it calls the show message method to display the message inform success message, and after that it calls the hide message. Update status method updates the alarm trigger status and store that value in the local storage. First, retrieve all the entries in the local storage and assign that value to alarms variable. If the alarms array is not null, then we check for the alarm object with the given alarm ID and search for the index and get the object notified property and assign the value, set the value to true and store the alarms array to the local storage. After that, update the DOM status of the alarm to be triggered and add styles. That is update status method. Next, delete method. Delete method takes the DOM button object and it first fetch all the entries in the local storage, assign it to alarms array and filter all the records which are not matching the given alarm ID and get that array and convert that to a JSON string and store back in the local storage and remove the element from the uh, alarms entry in the DOM. Create node method gets the ID, date, time and notified properties. Here ES6 destructuring method is used to extract the values and create a paragraph tag. Here ES6 template literals are used and bind the values and insert that paragraph tag to the alarms division tag. Show message method display the validation message. Hide validation method hides the validation message after 5 seconds. Next we have init alarms method. Init alarms method gets all the entries in the local storage and assign that to a alarms array and use the uh, display the values in the DOM. Here we have a for off loop. For each alarm entry, we create a new DOM element. Trigger notifications method executes the notifications. Uh, First, it gets the current time in seconds and we get the alarms entries stored in the local storage and if it is not null, we have a for off loop to get the ID, date and time. These are retrieved using ES6 destructuring method and we extract the time in the alarms using date and time property and check the alarm time in seconds with the current time. If it is true, it triggers a notification. It calls the method create notifications with the properties ID, date and time. Create notifications method has a body variable which adds the notification message and the icon, and it creates a new notification object. Here we have used object shorthand method of ES6 syntax. First, check for the permission. If permission is granted, then we can call uh, notifications. After few seconds, the notification is disappeared and the and and call the update status method. If the notification permission is not equal to granted, sorry, not equal to denied, that means a notification permission is set to default state, then we send a request permission. It sends a promise and resolve the promise status. If it is granted, then trigger the notification. Else, we display the regular method using uh, alert functionality. Next, we have init notifications method. Init notification method triggers the call, sorry, calls the trigger notifications method for every second. Using set interval, it calls the trigger notifications method. So that is the class alarm notifications. Next we have in this code base all the DOM elements and create a new alarm object using the class alarm notifications. And next we have DOM event handlers submit event calls the alarm object set alarm method with input date and time. Remove event check for the button element event button click event and calls the delete method with the given ID. Load event handler first check for the notifications browser support. If not, it displays a console message. Else, if notification is not granted, then sends a request permission and set the permission to the given status. Then inside the load method, we have functionalities to invoke alarm object set defaults method to set the default date and time, and it calls the init alarms method to load all the alarm entries stored in the local storage and display them on the DOM and trigger the alarm notification using init notification method. Next in the code we have DOM events window event load calls the load method, load function. Submit button click event calls the submit submit function, and alarms div button delete click button delete click event calls the remove function. So that is the whole application functionalities. Now let's see how this application works. This is the final application. So when you reload the page, it requests the alarm notification permission. Click allow, and then we can set the date and time. We can select the date and time. We can set a timer to trigger in 2 minutes. Set alarm. It will set a new alarm entry and displays below the form. You can see the notification here. After 4 seconds, the notification disappears. So if we try to add a pastime and set the alarm, it will display error message, can't set alarms for times in the past. Also, if we try to set a alarm which is already set, we'll take this entry, Tuesday, and set the alarm. It shows alarm already exists error message. So that's the application. You can set multiple alarms. You can see all the alarm status, the triggered alarms and the other alarm entries. So that sums up my homework assignment, and thank you for watching this video.